Welcome to yet another Welcome to yet another Talk to the Expert series by the Spectrum Autism. Today in this session, we have with us Ms Neena Wagh, who is a writer, poet, a filmmaker, an autism advocate, and founder of ALAP, which is assisted living for autistic persons. The purpose and goal of ALAP is to answer a very pertinent and crucial question: what after us? So let's hear in detail from woman behind this cause. Welcome, Ms Neena Wagh, ma'am. Hello, good evening, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shweta. And thank you, Dr. Shivali, for inviting me on this wonderful platform. It's good to know that so many people from different walks of life are now taking interest in our lives.
Yes.
And I think we are moving towards a better world.
Yes, an inclusive community, which we all are trying to create.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, ma'am, before starting with the conversation, the first and the very important question that I want to ask you is the idea behind ALAP's inception. So please tell us in detail how it came to your mind and how it all started, the journey that that you have seen, that you have underwent, that you have experienced. We really want to know about that.
Okay. So when my son turned 15, my eldest son, his name is Amog, he's now 23.
Okay.
When he turned 15, one thought hit me, because I was all consumed by, autism and autism this and autism that I was almost neglecting every other aspect of my life. I had the son, my father-in-law, myself, my husband, so many other roles that I had to play. But this aspect of our family life was really consuming me. So that really made me think that, how do we go ahead? And then also the fact that if this is so all consuming, what will happen when we are not there?
Yes, absolutely.
That sort of triggered this thing of what after us, which I have been harping about from the past 7-8 years.
Right.
I've been focusing on this particular aspect in the huge spectrum. Well, autism itself is a spectrum disorder. The challenges are also have, the huge spectrum. So I started focusing on this because my son was 15 and I had to think about, what will happen when he turns 25, what will happen when he turns 35, so on and so forth. So that's how I started looking around, and I realized that there were not many options available in India, other than these government funded institutions, which, every other day used to hear these horror stories, and definitely it did not resonate with our middle class sensibilities. I was looking around for a setup which would understand and nurture my son's individuality.
Yes.
At the same time, work towards his capacity building. So that journey led me to finally come to a point where I thought that whatever that I am thinking or trying to advocate, if I'm not getting it around, and it's better that I start creating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's how in 2018, after much trial and turbulences and learnings, I came to a conclusion that if I want something, then I have to only take that step. So that's how ALAP, Assisted Living for Autistic Persons, were in a trust in year 2018.
Okay. That's really wonderful, ma'am. Like you have experienced and you have yourself come forth to start something which is going to help others. Absolutely. So that's really very wonderful and a very noble gesture, I think, on your part, that you are working for others as well, not just for yourself, but others as well.
Yeah. See, the thing is that every parent thinks selfishly on an average, that mera family, mere bache. But when we talk about special needs, when we talk about the need of our children, when you look around, there are not many support system, even if
Absolutely.
you have well-meaning family members or extended family like relatives and everybody. They have their own lives, they have their own challenges, and what with this depleting social support systems in forms of joint families, which are now almost negligible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really find yourself alone out there.
Yes.
This me myself thinking is not going to help, at least in our area. So that set me thinking that if I want to ensure that my child will have a good and happy life, then I
Right.
will have to either be instrumental into creating that ecosystem in which my son will thrive. Just by creating a trust and having funds and having tons of money itself is not going to be enough. Who's going to understand his day-to-day needs? What is the function in which he will be working? What will be the immediate close circle is your family, but what about the outer circle? Then the outer circle would be those people who are taking care apart from the families.
Right.
Right. An outer circle where we're talking about the society in large, and so on and so forth. So you have to really create, because in the lack of awareness, even if people are well intended, but they do not understand what autism is, or for that matter any other disability, they don't understand, and they don't understand the day-to-day challenges. And most of our kids are unable to hold verbal communication.
Yes.
So how do they understand?
Yeah, the expression is not there.
So that set me thinking that isolation mein kaam nahi banega. So I would say very bluntly that I was not being noble when I thought that I have to help others. I was being very practical.
Okay, that's
it was a hard reality.
Yeah.
That कि अगर मुझे अपने बच्चे के लिए सोचना है तो मुझे 4 बच्चों के लिए और सोचना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर मैं सोचूंगी तो शायद कहीं सेल्फिशली कोई मेरे बारे में भी सोचेगा. So I do not carry any halo about me that I am doing a very noble task. I think I'm being very practical in talking about creating a village. In ALAP, we say that it takes a village to raise a child. In ALAP, we're trying to raise a village to look after that one child. It is that daunting a task.
Yeah.
And Sadlam, I give great impetus on community building, community mobilization. That is what my energy, apart from investing it in ALAP, is to reach out to as many parents. That's why I found this opportunity to reach out to new set of parents through if they are listening or they will listen to the recording later on.
Yes.
That it's already late. It's already late because we are living in very tough times. If you look at the way polity is happening, the things are unfolding around. We're talking about global warming. We're talking about harshness of weather. So many things. It can be overwhelming. The only thing which can keep our sanity together, to keep our wits together, is to come together.
Togetherness, absolutely.
Hold our hands together, share our resources, share our own strengths. Only then we'll be able to solve this. Otherwise, we'll perish on our own.
Ma'am, we have seen that it's very difficult for the parents when they come to know about the challenges which the child is going to face, or the problem that the child is having. For them, the acceptance is very difficult. So what was the role of your family or your husband, as we are celebrating, this whole month as Father's Day? We are dedicating this month to fathers, that their role is also very, very important in a family, in the life of a child. So what was the role of your husband in handling all these situations and going along with you?
So I must say that, I could never really empathize with the women's issue, because probably I come from a privileged family. I had a very supporting and broad-minded father. I have a very supporting brother, and I have an extremely supporting husband. And मतलब हमारा घर तो नारी प्रधान घर रहा है शुरू से. Strong-headed, my grandmother, my mother, my mother-in-law, they were all very strong force unto themselves. And my husband has, as far as parenting of the special need child so we decided that I will take the front role and he will take the supporting role. And we have been pretty okay with that, because somebody has to provide, because I left my job. I became a completely hands-on mother, because autism was an absolutely new knowledge from where I started. I had heard of only one person, Mary Barwa, when it came to autism. But I think, hats off to my generation mothers and parents, that we did a lot of work in autism awareness, building the awareness, because awareness building is one step towards reaching out and making others reach out to us as well. So I would say that my husband's without his support, I would not have been able to do as much as I'm able to do, because I did not interfere in his work, that तुम देर से आ रहे हो या कुछ आ रहे हो, and similarly he did not say कि अरे यहाँ जाने की क्या जरूरत है या वो बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, because and that really strengthens a family. Most of the time I hear many mothers that मैं कुछ करती हूँ तो करने भी नहीं देते, खुद भी नहीं कुछ करते हैं. That is a very frustrating aspect. And in fact, now that you are asking, I would say that the fathers, that आप अपनी वाइफ के साथ खड़े रहिए अगर आप एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर सकते हैं तो. I personally know at least 6 mothers whose husband have left only because they could not handle the pressure of having a special need child. So in our Indian context we say मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. That's all bullshit and crap. मर्द को बहुत दर्द होता है, but accept करने में problem होती है. Right. I think we should have those kind of discussions where we can talk about it's okay. Everybody can be vulnerable, irrespective whether it's a man or a woman, mother or a father, and everybody needs support. It's just the difference is that the women can reach out to I can give me a handful of a absolute stranger woman in a room, but we will start talking 9 a dozen within a second. But men can't do that. So that is another problem, and they can't open up. So they don't open up, so they not able to seek that much support as we are able to. Right. Coming back to your basic question, yes, I still have a very solid support from my husband and my brother, and now my youngest son as well. So great. That's wonderful, ma'am. That's really nice to hear. And ma'am, when you started it, so what do you feel that what are the requirements and essentials that should be there in assisted living? A good staff, willing to learn, and not having any kind of prejudices, and so what I have done is, like, I've really worked with the staff. I've done the backward integration, in that sense that I understand a lot. I invest a lot in my relationship with my staff, my team. Right. Where are they coming from? What are their challenges? What are their strengths and weaknesses? Right. So that is very important. Whenever, it doesn't matter what kind of infrastructure, because most of the parents, when they start forming this group to think about, they start concentrating on big things like infrastructure or ये system, वो सब चीजें organically चीजें होती जाती हैं. But you have to invest in people. You have to have good relationship with people, because what is the primary objective of setting up this assisted living? Is that बेटा मेरा चार्जर ले आओ वहां से. Is that we want to ensure to give a safe and nurturing environment to our children. Yes, absolutely. आप बड़ी सी जगह बना दो, वहां पे आप randomly 10-15 स्टाफ रख दो जो हाफ डे ट्रेनिंग उनकी हुई हो, एंड जिसका आपको पर्सनली आप उनके नाम के अलावा आप उनकी बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी आपको नहीं मालूम है, तो उससे आपको मालूम नहीं चलेगा. फिर हम लोगों को फिर then we become paranoid कि हमारे बच्चों की सेफ्टी का क्या, abuse तो नहीं होगा, all those kind of stuff. सबसे पहले understanding the staff, nurturing them, understanding their background, conveying to them that you are standing with them, right, come what may. Right. So that is one thing. Second thing is to find your right people.
Yes.
Right kind of people if you want to collaborate with somebody.
Okay.
Because आज की तारीख में हर कोई leader है, follower नहीं है कोई. Because everybody is evolving very rapidly and everybody thinks that they know everything.
Yes.
But ऐसा होता नहीं है हर एक में, because एक comparison का एक हमारा थोड़ा सा society में अगर हम बारीकी से समझें, social media का इतना ज़्यादा प्रभाव है कि everybody wants to be a celebrity, everybody wants to be an influencer, everybody wants to be something. They're not happy wherever they are.
Yes.
Wherever there is a little scope of, getting some kind of credit, some kind of this thing, everybody wants to pop up their heads.
Yeah.
But बाकी सब जगह तो ठीक है, लेकिन setting up a system where you have to take responsibility of 10 children, 20 children, this thing. A clear-cut leadership is required.
Yes.
So good, synergized team of people, whether they are parents, whether they're just professionals, or whether they are parents and professionals combination. A very clear-cut role definition is required.
Yes.
Because too many cook spoil the broth. Top पे एक ही रह सकता है, दो नहीं रह सकते.
Absolutely.
But you can have a good, leadership kind of. मतलब एक अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर है तो दो प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं हो सकते हैं, एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर होगा, एक गृह मंत्री होगा.
Yeah.
एक फॉरेन मिनिस्टर होगा, एक पब्लिक. So this is where the things have flopped is because of these two factors: not having good support staff and not having a good solid team with clear-cut role definition. उसके बाद फिर आता है आपका क्या environment है, आपकी intent क्या है, आपका ecosystem क्या है, what is your sensibility. Some people are very happy in having a small setup. Some people feel safety in numbers. Whatever your thing is, then those things come later.
Yeah. So
these are the primary essential thing. But if you're talking about setting up a system,
right,
there are a huge lot of things, more kind of things, which I think when we have a very focused group-based focused discussion, then I can talk in detail as to how to go about it. So this is from if you are trying to set up a system. And there is another aspect to it, that when you are seeking such a setup for your child, what should be your prerequisites?
Yes, from the parents' point of view.
From the parents' point of view. So first of all, I would like to tell every parent that the minute the child turns 12 or 13, they start treating him like an adolescent person, not as a child who can be talked down. Ye mat karo, wo mat karo. If you do this, we will give you that. Because मैंने देखा है कि अभी भी हमारे बच्चे 18, 19 साल, 20 साल, 30 साल के भी हो जाएंगे. खास तौर से एनजीओज में जो स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स हैं, they are very hardworking, very well-intended people, but they tend to infantilize the adults just because they have a label. We have to refrain from that. Yeah. That is first step towards making them feel that okay, they have grown up. Now they have certain responsibilities.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Till the time you keep infantilizing, they will not grow up here.
They will not grow up. Exactly.
So nobody is expecting anything. They think that their expectations from them are the same when he was 6 years old and now when he's 26 years old. So that has to stop immediately from whoever is around him or her. And then he has to be involved in day-to-day life, the way it unfolds. He cannot be kept as a person with special need and everybody become a constant reminder to him that there is something special about me. So I can be discounted on doing or taking any responsibility either for my surroundings or for my actions or for my behavior. No. If you want your child to go towards living independently, then he has to be worked from here.
Yes.
And that has to start from home. That has to start first and foremost from the mother.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Because mother tend to have this because of their overprotectiveness, they don't even realize that even something, it happens in a subconscious level. They will speak out for him. They will do everything for him. Yeah. Then, and especially in the affluent family, oh my God, I should have a separate session on this thing. Because you have so many servants and everybody to look after. they grow up with sense of entitlement, with zero sense of responsibility.
Yes, yes.
They will go for golf, they will go for this game, that game, and कहीं पे वो टिकते नहीं है, उनको सेटल करना और प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. Because they think कि आज मैं ये 2 दिन मैंने ये काम कर लिया, बस मेरा मूड हो गया खराब, कोई बात नहीं, because he has been indulged.
Yeah, it's over and done.
वो कहीं पे फिट नहीं हो पाता है.
बिल्कुल.
And जिसका खामियाजा पेरेंट्स को ही भुगतना पड़ेगा, अनफॉर्चुनेटली. एंड उसके लिए, क्योंकि अगर उसमें इतनी समझ है कि वो जाके अपने चूज कर सकता है लेजर टाइम, तो उसमें इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी दी जानी चाहिए कि अगर आपको करना है तो यू हैव टू अर्न समथिंग.
Yes.
Earning can be in points, it can be translated into a barter system initially, and then slowly and gradually come to the concept of, getting paid for work. Because I recently had a very high functioning young adult who had this notion कि मुझे पैसे के लिए काम नहीं करना है. He had this romantic notion about,
Okay.
I said, fine, मत करो पैसे के लिए काम, let's have a barter system. I said, you love popcorn, na? So fine, if you do certain work, then only you will get a certain star system. And when that you get this many stars, that means you can go and buy a
popcorn. Right.
So, there are so many ways to reach out to them. So that is very essential for the parents if they want. Because what happens is, if one fine day you decide आपने अपना दिल खराब भी कर लिया और आपने 6 साल से लेके 26 साल तक की उम्र तक में उसको आपने कुछ भी बेसिक्स नहीं सिखाया, इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं सिखाया, और आप सिर्फ यही कहते हुए आते हैं कि इसमें एग्रेशन क्यों है? एग्रेशन क्यों है? एग्रेशन इज अ बिहेवियर, इट्स अ लैंग्वेज, इट्स अ कम्युनिकेशन. आप खाली बैठे आप खाली बैठे हुए, खाली दिमाग शैतान का घर भी हो जाता है, बिहेवियर्स भी आ जाते हैं. आपको इंपल्स कंट्रोल करना नहीं आता है, बिकॉज आपको हर चीज आपको डिमांड की आदत पड़ जाती है.
Yes.
अब आपका 6 साल का क्यूट कडली बच्चा आप 26 साल में क्यूट कडली नहीं लगेगा, तो आप में इतनी स्ट्रेंथ भी नहीं रहेगी कि आप उसकी हर चीज, जब आप ना करना शुरू करेंगे उसको तो आदत पड़ेगी.
Then they are not able to accept it only.
फिर एग्रेशन तो आएगा ही आएगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
So all these things are English. तो अब इसमें क्या होता है, अगर 26 साल का एक बच्चा जिसमें जो टॉयलेट ट्रेन भी नहीं है, जिसमें लॉट ऑफ एग्रेशन है, जिसको नहीं सुनने की आदत नहीं रही है, अब वो अगर हमारे सेटअप में आता है तो हमें उसके ऊपर काम करने में ज्यादा मेहनत करनी
बिल्कुल.
कंपेयर टू somebody who comes at the age of 15, 16.
Yeah.
मदर भी, पेरेंट्स भी काम कर रहे हैं,
They
काफी
have worked on. Yeah, absolutely.
ट्रांजिशन स्मूथ होगा एंड हम बहुत बेहतर तरीके से पेरेंट्स के लिए सपोर्ट सिस्टम बनेंगे और पेरेंट्स हमारे लिए. सो इट्स लाइक अ ट्राइपार्टाइट एग्रीमेंट. हियर इज द चाइल्ड, हियर इज द पेरेंट एंड हियर इज वी. तो जब तक इनमें कहीं भी फ्लो में कहीं पे भी कोई जर्क होगा, प्रॉब्लम आएगी. बिल्कुल. तो ये करंट सिचुएशन में ये जहां पे भी इस 3 एंगल के अलावा कुछ है ही नहीं.
Yes.
And of course, assisted living mein you have to have complete transparency. You have to keep up working. Like in ALAP, I have drilled this thing in the staff that even if the parent has given up on the child, you have no business to give up on the child. You have to keep working on the capacity building up, because we are answerable to the child first of all.
Right.
And then to the parent.
Yes.
So, that is what it is.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. So that correlation and, that connectivity between you, parents, and the child is very important.
We have to create an interdependence ecosystem with interdependence. And we have to be answerable and responsible so that the job becomes easier for the next person in the
right.
job. Like for us, if there are some behavior patterns that the mother or the father is not able to break, then we come, because most of the time I have seen that the child behaves differently in front of the parent. I think ये हम सबके साथ भी होता है. इनके साथ थोड़ा ज्यादा enhance होता है. हम भी अपने घर में जाते हैं तो घर में चाहे हम यहाँ सुबह 6 बजे से लेके रात के 9 बजे तक एक टांग पकड़े हो, लेकिन अपनी मम्मी के घर गए तो हम पसर जाएंगे कि चलो चाय भाभी पे रहो. This is a very natural thing.
It's human nature.
When this resident come to our place, the same person behaves differently and the parents are zapped. अरे ये यहाँ तो अपने आप खा रहा है, अरे ये तो ये भी काम कर रहा है, अरे ये तो मिक्स हो रहा है, हमारे यहाँ तो करते ही नहीं क्योंकि आप घर की मुर्गी हो. But अगर if you set boundaries from the very minute your child steps into adolescence, and tighten up some things, and respect him also as a person, and not be a constant reminder that you are sort of your social role valorization is less than your sibling, just
Yes.
because especially it's conveyed in so many ways.
Yes.
It's body language, or most of the time I've seen mothers talking about ये तो मेरी सुनता ही नहीं है. The minute you say that, you've lost the battle.
Yes, absolutely.
You are letting your authority go in his hand. So you have to assert yourself. So everything starts from here.
That's from here. This is this statement of yours which you have just shared कि ये हमारी सुनता नहीं है. As an educator, I have heard it many times from the parents that this coming from the parents is a very normal thing कि हमारी नहीं सुनता, आपकी सुनता है क्योंकि आपने सुनाया नहीं. That's the thing.
मैं आपको एक थोड़ा सा इसका एक लार्जर पर्सपेक्टिव भी देती हूँ.
Yeah.
तो हम मतलब I may sound harsh when I say that it's lazy parenting. That is one tiny aspect of it. But the thing is, देखो हमारे जो माहौल परिवेश है, जहाँ जिस कंट्री में हम रहते हैं, वहाँ डे टू डे की जद्दोजहद बहुत है. हम घर से बाहर निकलते हैं, पार्किंग का लफड़ा, नेबर से पार्किंग का फिर सड़कों पे गड्ढे, फिर बॉस के साथ वो. अभी मैं किसी का फेसबुक पे किसी का सुन रही थी कि पैंडेमिक के बाद वो बेचारा बीमार होके होता है, उसमें एनर्जी नहीं है, लेकिन उसके जो बॉसेस हैं उसके किसी एमएनसी बैंक में काम कर रहा है, वो उसको रात दिन उसको टारगेट दिए हुए हैं, एंड टोटली नॉट माइंडफुल ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट ही हैज अभी उठाया सिकनेस में. हमारे सोसाइटी में जनरली एक एम्पैथी की कमी है, और हमें बस we don't respect the boundaries when it comes to work life. मतलब काम अब वर्क फ्रॉम होम हो गया है तो कोई लिमिट ही नहीं है, 11 बजे तक सब लगे हुए हैं. तो पेंडेमिक के बाद भी और ज्यादा चीजें भी हो गई हैं, बट अदरवाइज ऑल्सो हस्बैंड वाइफ दोनों काम कर रहे हैं, तो मेट्स का कच. तो जो डे टू डे की हमारी लाइफ है कंपेयर टू से अदर कंट्रीज एंड ऑल, उनकी तो डे टू डे के कॉन्वर्सेशन में इस तरह की बातें भी नहीं होती होंगी कि पोल्यूशन है, सड़क पे गड्ढे हैं, दरोगा मिल गया, फाइन गया. देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स जो हमारे लाइफ में डे टू डे में है, बहुत कच है. So it affects, and it has affected the quality of just about everything. Quality of living, quality of thought, quality of self-esteem as collective in our society. And of course, the parenting also. आप ये सोचिए, हम इंडिपेंडेंट लिविंग की बात करते हैं. इंडिपेंडेंट लिविंग क्या, हमारे तो सोसाइटी में अभी तक बड़े बच्चे अपनी शादी किससे करनी है वो तक डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. करियर क्या करना वो तक. we live in a very very oppressive society.
Yes, absolutely.
We are evolving in pockets.
Yeah.
ये इस तरह के डायलॉग्स की जरूरत इसलिए है कि जो भी ये सुन रहे हैं इसको रिफ्लेक्ट करें. जरूरी नहीं है कि हम इस चीज से बाहर नहीं निकले और इसी सर्कल्स में घूमते रहे. आधे से ज्यादा टाइम तो आप भी बात करती हैं, डॉक्टर शिवाली बात करती होंगी, मदर्स जब आती है तो उनके सास बहू के डायनामिक्स ही नहीं खत्म हो रहे. भी बच्चा पिस रहा होता है.
Right.
मेरी मदर इन लॉ कहती है कि नहीं, इसको थेरेपी की जरूरत नहीं है. यंग पेरेंट शी कॉल्स मी, कहती है इस पे पैसे खर्च करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये तो स्पेशल नीड है, इसको बस घर पे रखो, अच्छा खिलाओ पिलाओ. आज की चलती है घर में, वो मदर फ्रस्ट्रेटेड है. इवन इफ द मदर वांट्स टू डू समथिंग, शी इज बॉक्ड डाउन बाय husband who's not supporting her and a mother-in-law who's oppressing her.
Right.
तो हमारे तो layers and layers of challenges हैं.
Challenges, absolutely.
और मैं कहती हूँ hats off to the mothers and the families जो इसके बावजूद भी they shine out and they do so much for us.
Right.
तो इसलिए I think हमको ये अपने जो support circles हैं इनको बढ़ाना जरूरी है. इस तरीके के डायलॉग्स कॉन्स्टेंटली होना जरूरी है. लोगों को ये पता चलना जरूरी है कि हम जिस तरीके के रट में जी रहे हैं वो जरूरी नहीं है कि वैसे ही चलते रहे. स्टेटस को कुछ चेंज नहीं करना है, हमको झकझोरना है उसको.
Yes.
Shake it from its root. That's why there is so many disaffection happening in just about every sphere of our lives. अब अगर आप देखिए हस्बैंड वाइफ के रिलेशनशिप्स हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशन वर्सेस पब्लिक जितना भी है, फेथ का डेफिसिट हो गया, ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट हो गया हर जगह पे. एवरीथिंग इज इरोडिंग. व्हाई? बिकॉज़ ओल्ड थॉट सिस्टम नीड्स टू बी sort of discarded.
Discarded.
हर चीज में
Yes.
Coming back to our this, हम अपने आप को isolation में नहीं देख सकते. इसलिए I thought I would bring this perspective because otherwise we will become very very narrow vision.
Yes, absolutely.
हम हमारी ये जो community है, हम कहीं अलग नहीं बैठे. जब हम as a parents frustrated हो जाते हैं कि हमारे को कोई समझता नहीं है, तो उसके ना समझने के पीछे एक शायद ये भी एक वजह है कि वो सब अपने को समझने में लगे हुए थे.
Right.
इसीलिए again I go back again and again and stress a great deal about consolidating communities, building communities,
Right.
creating new communities, redefining what family means to us.
Yes.
For me, my 8 families who come here, who have invested in ALAP, who have invested their trust in us, they're my family.
Yes.
And I stand by them. So I feel enriched.
Yes.
Not by the fact that I am doing something great, but I feel humbled that some other mother has trusted her precious child with me, with my staff to look after them. It's a privilege.
Yeah. Given you the responsibility to take care of their child.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing is that with this assisted living whole circle that we are creating is one primary factor is very much required is gratitude.
Yeah.
We should not, because this is a very, very, I think this field, because I remember one fellow parent came and he said something very sweet that इस फील्ड में जो भी काम कर रहा है मेरी तरफ से तो उसको 21 तोपों की सलामी दी जानी चाहिए. But I say that this is a really, really revered field and we should give a great regard, a separate regard for this and express a great gratitude towards each other.
Right.
Gratitude express करेंगे जितना हम आगे एक दूसरे के बढ़ के बोलेंगे कि अच्छा हम और क्या कर सकते हैं आपके लिए या हम आपके लिए, नॉट जस्ट कि मैंने आपको पैसे दिए हैं, ये सर्विस है, यहाँ तो ये हो रहा है, यहाँ ये नहीं हो रहा, घर पे कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ पे आप बहुत ज्यादा उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि बस बच्चा सीधे स्लो मोशन में अमिताभ बच्चन बन के ही बाहर निकलेगा. ऐसा नहीं है. So it's a slow, gradual process. It's like an arranged marriage. जहाँ आप हमें समझिए, हम आपको समझे, धीरे धीरे रिश्तेदारी बढ़े. At least this is how I see it. I don't see myself or ALAP as a dry cut service industry where आप आए, आपने पैसे फेंके, हमने आपको सर्विस दी, बात खत्म हो गई. That's not the way, at least I see this sector. Why do we need this sector? Why do we need us? Why are you not keeping a child with yourself? Why? Because it's just you and your husband and your other child who has his own aspiration, who may have to go to Hyderabad, to Chennai or Canada to study. And then if you go to Canada to study, then obviously his horizon will increase. He may work anywhere in the world. So we have a very depleting support system. So we have to be very sensitive towards each other, that whoever is doing something in this field, we have to feel gratitude. At the same time, when we are taking the responsibility, we have to be transparent, we have to be responsible. And we have to, even if we have to bend backward to earn the trust of a very, very insecure and vulnerable parent who is having sleepless nights, कि मेरे बच्चे का क्या होगा मेरे बाद. So we also have to show extra sensitivity. So when this circle completes, this triangle completes with this utmost gratitude, with love and transparency, then we are going to have a very healthy environment and we can all die in peace.
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. That's a very wonderful thought which is there behind your forum. And I really want to ask that how can parents come to know about it, about ALAP and about all this forum that you have created, and how do they approach?
Shweta, that's a very important question because when I started on this journey, there was nothing around, no one platform where I could find this. There was just mattering of 1 or 2 institute that I had come across. And so I think now it's 5 years back, I formed this forum called on the Facebook. It's a community forum. It's called Forum for Assisted Living Solutions.
Yeah.
Whereby I started collating information on the existing as well as the upcoming assisted livings for IDD, especially in India, and the best practices, whatever is happening anywhere in the world. Also, started looking out for vocations, what people are doing with the adult, anything to do with adult life. Where they're going to live, who they're going to get married, how they get married. There is a beautiful platform called Inclusive Matrimony. They are part of this forum.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful platform. And so whoever is coming in this field thinking about adult grown-up life of these people, they are part of this community. So if a parent sitting even in Canada wants to migrate to India,
right,
and wants to know where to look around, he can come and join the forum.
right.
I have a whole list that I have compiled in Excel.
Okay.
I think somewhere around 70 to 80 facilities. I'm again in the process of fine-tuning it because certain institutes need to be deleted. New ones have been added. So the absolutely new one will be uploaded. Plus, I keep organizing these talks with all these new and upcoming and existing service providers and the services, so that more and more parents come to know. Those parents also get inspired who are just thinking of setting up such systems but do not know where to begin. So they get guidance from here. So, and of course, I am here. My email is available, and anybody can talk to me, and I can guide them whichever way you want.
Well, that's really wonderful, ma'am. And it's a very easy way because Facebook and the social media, all these platforms are very easy to access also these days.
Absolutely. I've sent my email also, those who want to, reach out. And of course, you can share the, it's called Forum for
Assisted Living Solutions.
Anybody can, this thing will pop up. They can just send a joining request and I will add them in.
That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And my next question is, what should be the approach of parents of neurodivergent children towards acceptance of their conditions?
For the parents?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I know. Because I remember myself when I was told the diagnosis was given. Of course, it was a setback, and immediately I had tears in my eyes. And but then I very soon, immediately, then I spoke to my brother. I remember that day very well. It's like almost 20 years now. But that moment is etched in my memory when Dr. Roma Kumar, gave the diagnosis and how I came out. Everything was blurry, and I called up my brother, and the first thing he said, "So what?"
Right.
I remember that. And from then onwards, I came into, okay, what can I do?
Yes.
ये तो अब है, इसको तो deny नहीं कर सकते. What can I do?
Right.
So then that's me. That was my take. Many times, parents are in denial mode, because of so many X factors. अरे डॉक्टर को पागल है, उसको कुछ नहीं पता है, लड़के देर से बोलते हैं, ये प्लान इम्कान, इसमें आधी तो जिंदगी ऐसे वेस्ट, आधे लोग उसको छुपाने में लग जाते हैं, और कई लोग हैं जो कि कोसते ही रहते हैं रात दिन. But so there's a whole mix of parents. Everybody has their own way of dealing with these kind of adverse
situations and all this.
Yeah. What I can say to them is that, why, when we say why me, this is maybe you find it weird, but when you say why me, that means you're wishing somebody else.
Yeah.
मुझे नहीं किसी और को होए. That's kind of selfish. We have to be graceful. That okay, if it's for me, then either if you are a believer in somebody higher entity and all. I mean, I have a very spiritual take on life. Many people may have a very practical approach. Even if you say it from an extreme practical way, that okay, now I have to build my capacity. How do I do it? Whatever way.
Right.
Because the more you deny, the more time you're losing in capacity building of your as well as your child.
Yeah.
And every life has a purpose, actively or passively.
Right.
what is a child who cannot move, who is frozen neck down and is living up to 20 years, 30 years? Yes, parents can wonder, what is the purpose of this life? Probably that person is teaching you patience,
Yes.
perseverance, serving others, selfishly knowing that this child will not give any return. And I've seen some amazing parents doing that.
Right.
And I'm sure there are weak moments where they must have thought about, कि भैया इसको उठा लो मेरे से पहले क्या होगा. We all go through that. We all go through it.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. The thing is that there is always a capacity building. Like when I started, my son could not hold a pencil. He could not sit for 2 minutes. Today he paints. His paintings are sold. He goes to an office, which is again a setup, beautiful setup, started by a sibling of a special need person.
Right.
So again, again, when I say that, when you feel alone, when you feel overwhelmed, seek people who are, in a similar field, who can inspire you, or you can lean on to that person, because it's a very tough way to live in this world, being a special need parent. You cannot be bold all the time, and it's okay. You don't have to, get carried by, the people around you saying, oh, you are so great, you are so mahan. Don't get carried away.
Right.
It's okay to be mean. It's okay to be hateful. It's okay to be hating your child also. It's okay.
That's a very important point.
Yes.
That's an important point that you've shared.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay to have your own meltdowns.
Yeah.
Go through it. Go through, touch the rock bottom. Because उसके बाद तो फिर आपने
उठना ही है उसके बाद. बिल्कुल सही बात है.
उसके बाद तो उठना ही है. So what I'm saying is that most of the time people just go through halfway.
Yes.
They're just being halfway nice. They're being just halfway bad. They're just being halfway in making effort. No. Go through the board, across the board.
Right.
Go completely berserk, and go completely, go beyond. You cannot imagine how much capacity we have as an individual.
Yes.
There's thousands of stories of all the underdogs going, and doing so many things. As a woman, when we become mothers, we really come to know our strengths. As a father, when we become from man to father, we know our strengths. We were not capable of. When you look back, you say, "Arey, maine itna kar liya."
Yeah.
So when you're stuck,
it's not actually during the happy times that we realize all these things. It's only the hard times that teach us, and they make us aware of our strengths.
Yeah. So whenever you are stuck, it's okay. Just stand there, don't do anything. But look back, look how much you have traveled.
Yes.
And when you feel overwhelmed that itna lamba journey hai, even I feel sometimes when I wake up, suddenly everything rushes like an avalanche, that, oh my God, abhi to ye bhi karna hai. But then you cannot do everything. You cannot grasp life in one go. You have to take one morsel at a time.
Yes.
Digest the whole thing. So I'm saying that take baby steps. When you get overwhelmed, take a back seat. Don't do anything. Just sit, enjoy, indulge yourself, do silly things. Just go for a movie, just run away. That's why I tell, very, very important for all the parents. Do not, get carried away with the overglorification. तुम तो mother हो, तुम तो सब कर लेती हो. नहीं भैया, हमें नहीं करना. I'm a mean mother. I learned very early. मुझे अगर अपने बच्चों को खिलाना, because invariably whenever I used to sit for eating, एक को टॉयलेट जाना होता था, एक ने कुछ मेस किया होता था, I would be at the end of my wits.
Right.
So I think मैं भारतवर्ष की पहली खराब माँ होंगी जो अपने बच्चों को फीड करने से पहले खुद खाना खाती. Because I needed energy to deal with them.
Yes, you have to take care of them.
भागते and autism तो बच्चा, especially छोटी एज में तो हाइपर होता है. I interact with so many mothers who are like totally harassed. बाल इधर दिख रहे हुए, ये बैठता नहीं, टिकता नहीं, because शुरू में you need to conserve your energy.
Yes.
I tell them that when your child is gone to a center for 4 hours, at least half an hour for yourself, when you are not listening to any saas bahu drama, with you, not having this husband's expectation, just leave everything. That half an hour rejuvenate, whatever is that thing or your thing, whether you want to love reading book or enjoying or cooking or just sitting and listening to
Right.
nature and music, do that, because that little half an hour of pure selfishness will strengthen, give you strength for the next 24 hours.
It will rejuvenate you for the
Yeah.
talent.
Have your own tools. That's very important.
Yeah.
Not to have burnouts, you know.
Right, absolutely. And my next question was that what kind of care do the caretakers or staff provide? But I think half of the question you have already answered when you talked about the setup, when you had started with this thing.
Yeah,
And team and all.
एक ही line बोलूंगी, they are like surrogate mothers. Because ALAP has only boys, so I have all male staff.
Okay.
And I tell them that you have to invoke your feminine side, you know.
Right.
Mother, you have to step inside a mother's head कि वो कैसे सोचती है,
and
but
think
to
that
a point, because हर समय मदर की तरह सोचने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, फिर बच्चा सीखेगा भी नहीं जाता. So they're like brothers,
right,
they're like companions, they're like friends, so they're teachers, they're all rolled in one, and they play a huge role in all the, whether they are teacher assistant, whether they are special educators, whether they are heading the project, whether they are cooks, whoever they are.
Right.
Nurturing, because I nurture them and they have been nurtured, so they know how to nurture them. They know. So it's all the way, you know. आप हमारा वीडियो देखना, संडे को उनकी चंपिंग भी हो रही है, बच्चों की नेल्स भी कट हो रहे हैं, उनको नहलाना भी सिखा रहे हैं. एवरीथिंग जो मदर सिखाती है बच्चे को, वो ये सिखाते हैं, एंड देन सम मोर.
Right.
So, you know,
and ma'am, the activities that you do there, the children that the activities that the children do,
so
they're tailored according to their interest.
Absolutely. So, you know, one reason why I wanted to have a smaller setup was because I give great stress on individual growth.
Right.
People call IEP, I work on IGP, individual growth plan.
Growth pattern.
You know, every child, whatever the age, has, you know, four aspect, you know, emotional growth, intellectual growth, physical development, and even spiritual. Spiritual means self-awareness. You know, मैं कौन हूँ, मेरा क्या role है, मेरी क्या responsibility, मेरी क्या expectations है, what is it that I feel. So we focus on all these four aspects one by one, and उसमें you know, intellectual में of course जो आप study कर रहे हो, जो भी आपकी perceptions हैं, आपका social behaviors है, communication है, emotional उसमें. So whether and everything which has got more practical applications, that is given more stress. You know, like there are non-verbal kids जो कई लोग बच्चे भाग जाते हैं, मार्केट में चले जाते हैं मदर्स के साथ जाए, so they cannot speak. तो what is your name? So they have learned to do, this is I card, this is my name, you see this. Okay, right. They've been able to point that. Yeah. So we are teaching them to always carry the I card, so that alternative tools for communication. Right. So that empowers them that okay, we can communicate. You know, we talk about everything. In the pandemic, the mortality was really sort of everybody realized their own mortality, and many of the kids lost their grandfathers, you know, somebody. So that set us thinking that we should talk about life and death also, the complete circle. Right. In their own level of understanding. So we started talking about that, and you know, whatever is happening around them, whether who's our prime minister, who's the neighbor, what is expectations. So we have tied up with another organization. They go in the morning to work there. Those who can, 3 of them, they go and work there. The younger one who have not been able to fit into the school system, they come here. they study with us,
Right.
and in a homeschooling plan, and they're also learning activity of daily living, their communication, their behaviors, whatever we're channelizing, everything, how to de-stress themselves, become aware of their body, not outside body, but inside also. What is
Okay.
digestive system? What does it do? What if you eat something? What happens? Where does it go? What do you feel in your digestive system? So that is part of self awareness. पहले अंदर का पता चलेगा तभी उनको पता चल जाएगा ना कि
Yes, yes.
अगर उनको दर्द हो रहा है वो कैसे बताएंगे. For an autistic person, दर्द, for a non-verbal autistic person, उसको ये बोलना कि उसको दर्द हो रहा है वो कैसे समझाएगा? That kind of discomfort कहाँ हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है? We're teaching all these nuanced things.
Right, right. So somewhere like all the, you're touching over all the developmental milestones of these
मैं
children. And
आपको बताऊं, I'm an over imaginative mother. मैं ना बैठ के सोचती रहती हूँ अच्छा अगर ये सिचुएशन होगी तो फिर क्या होगा, मेरे
तो
बच्चे
कैसे
कैसे
करेंगे? How to deal?
Yeah, so I become a big impact. So I put myself in the shoes of that child.
Yeah,
And then
right.
think.
Exactly.
So I remember once I had gone as a volunteer with another organization. We had gone to a zoo. So this non-verbal child, उसने किसी ऐसे passerby को chips लेके देख लिया. So he wanted chips. So teacher उसको बोल रहा था कि अभी नहीं, अभी wait करो बोले. And suddenly he had a meltdown. He was like, so two school kids कहीं 10-11 स्टैंडर्ड के होंगे वो लोग, आया उनको ऐसे करके देखा तमाशाई की तरह और फिर कहते हैं अरे पागल है. And they slapped each other. So then I got hold of them. ऐसे तुमको चिप्स चाहिए और तुम्हारे को टीचर दे नहीं रही है, तुम कैसे बताओ? तुम्हें जिद करनी है. 1 मिनट में उसको समझ में आ गया.
Right.
उसको 1 मिनट में एडवोकेसी का लेसन मिल गया. So this is what we try to do with me, my staff, we get into the shoes of that person. Most of the time, another thing I want to tell the parents is, most of the time the parents, when they talk from their perspective. हमें इतनी स्ट्रेस रहती है, हम इसका सोच रहे हैं, हम पैसे कैसे इकट्ठे करेंगे, हमारी बात क्या होगा, इसको ये तो कुछ सुनता ही नहीं है, इसको गुस्सा आता है. They are talking from their perspective.
Yes.
I really feel कि एक दिन हमारे पास ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी आए where we can get the body stimulation of each and every person, whether it's person with visual impairment, whether it's person with autism with sensory problems, or whether it's hearing impaired. If we could get into their bodies and understand and perceive the whole
What
day,
they are thinking.
I think we will become such beautiful empaths.
Seriously.
Just because we are parents, we automatically become their empath? No, that doesn't happen. So whenever we are thinking too much as a parent, we should stop and we should think from their side also.
Yeah.
Understanding badhegi. There will be a better, the minute I learned that, I started having a beautiful relationship with my son.
Right.
His emotional quotient increased. शुरू में हमें ये बताया जाता है कि इनमें empathy नहीं होती, they cannot, this is all bullshit crap. सब है. कोई भी किसी भी तरीके की impairment हो, किसी तरीके की deficiency हो, कोई भी level हो, इनमें आपके और हमारे जैसा ही दिल धड़कता है.
Yes.
Same aspirations हैं, शायद नहीं हो, कम aspirations हैं, बल्कि वो तो ज्यादा respect की जानी चाहिए. कम aspirations को भी हम उनके पूरा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. As a society, as a collective society, it's shameful for us. So, maybe probably those parents who have not been able to understand that means probably they were themselves not understood in their own setup.
Yes, absolutely.
So, it's a generational deficiency which
going on and on.
Leading on to and all.
Yeah.
We need to,
break it somewhere. Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. That's a very, unique thought, and we really need to work on that thing in every family, in every life. We need to do that. Moving on, ma'am. Moving on, what is the way or techniques that you implement to handle the disputes amongst the residents there in ALAP?
No dispute among themselves. खत्म बात. कोई dispute नहीं है. एक जना जाता, दूसरा कहता तू क्यों जा रहा है, रुक जा.
That's wonderful.
I'm telling you, there is no dispute.
So sweet.
There is no dispute. There is peaceful coexistence.
Right.
Only
That's
thing
it.
there could be maybe when a child have an impulsive issue, and probably if he has some hitting or biting problem or something, that mishap can happen anywhere, but that would not happen deliberately. That is
Yes.
something which will happen because the lack of impulse control.
Impulsiveness, just in case.
But otherwise, there is no dispute, there is no jealousy, there is no competition among them. There's a peaceful. At least I have not come across that.
That's right. Lovely. That's really nice to hear that. And we all have so much to learn from them.
Yeah. I'm telling I consider my son my guru. I consider all of my staff think that, we feel very happy being with them more than the parents.
That's really nice. And ma'am, we also want to know about any other organization or agencies which are associated with ALAP.
So first of all, I think I've been making a humble effort to bring all the assisted living service providers on one platform. And we have a WhatsApp group, and we are all learning from each other because this is a new sector. And I think each one of them are an inspiration unto themselves. Whether it's Shaurya Center, whether it's Mr. Kundra's setup, Mr. Deviji's setup, and Hyderabad, then these upcoming setups like ARC in Vellore, CLAP, and SCAN. All these are amazing setup. I mean, with the awesome parents, who are coming up.
Yeah.
Our association is with all of them, because I have learned some, how to make certain documents, systems. I am also, people are learning, taking it from me also, from ALAP also. So in that sense, most of us are interconnected, but our direct collaboration is with In for the Cause. In for the Cause is creating work environment, work opportunities in an office, in a sheltered way, to all young adults. And so we are collaborating with them. And of course, I have just recently collaborated with Project Nishant, which is also the new name is I think Nayi Subha. They just Project Nishant is one of their project under which they have pledged to get employment for 200 IDP persons, and it's a new beginning.
Right.
Shweta Malhotra and Mamta are two people who are amazingly doing fantastic work. So we have collaborated with them, and that's it. I think more
so more and more people are joining in and working towards this.
Yeah,
that's great, ma'am. Great to hear that. And ma'am, any message that you want to, or any tip that you want to share with the parents, and anything in your poetic style also will go. Please do that also.
Anything what?
In your poetic style.
No, I was not prepared for that. But as far as parents are concerned, I think what we are lacking more than infrastructure or finances or everything is the compassion. We really, really need to increase our compassion quotient for ourselves, as well as for fellow parents, and especially for those who are parents, as well as taken the bold step to become the service providers. Like I said, we need to step into each other's shoes, imaginarily also.
Yes.
To understand, because it's very easy to be on certain side and pass, comments, from their own
judgments
level
and
of understanding or perception. But it's another story altogether when you step into that shoe and then you try to understand. So compassion, increasing the compassion quotient, complementing each other, not competing. There's no, it's futile, it's useless, because हमारे फील्ड में बहुत काम करने को है और
Yes.
अभी भी there are just handful of people who are doing it.
Yes, that's true.
So these are two things. Third thing is we need to stop looking inward. We need to look outward. We need to reach out to the larger society. A lot of advocates have been doing, but we need to multiply that.
Yes.
It has started happening. We are seeing a lot of I think there are changes happening in pockets.
Right.
The other day I came across an amazing young girl who has invented an app which which can translate the sign language in English. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about as a community, we're talking about inclusion, we are just stuck at the school level only. Where is the inclusion in colleges? Where is the inclusion in the higher level of education?
Right.
Where is inclusion in other spheres of life? Why are our kids not visible in every sphere of life?
Right.
अब मुझे तो slightest मौका मिलता है किसी से भी engage करने का, especially with the youth. I tell them, do you have a friend with a special need? Do you know a friend who has a friend with special needs? Have you ever gone with somebody on wheelchair to a pub? Have you ever taken somebody with visual impairment to a movie or to a live music concert? Why are they not seen?
Right.
We need to become more visible. We need to have more advocates for our kids other than us.
Yes. Come out of that me,
yes,
myself.
Because otherwise we are limiting their life. We are limiting their reach. Because it's just the children with special need and the parents. That world is very small. We need to expand that world.
Right, right. Absolutely, ma'am.
Always, I would like to give.
Yes.
Anybody wants to ask any question? Is there anybody there or?
Ma'am, I think there's some delay in the comment section. So they are coming little, after a gap of some time. So we'll just move on, ma'am, and we really want to extend our thanks to you. Thank you so much for sparing your time for us. Thank you so much for sharing these experiences with us and telling us in detail about your forum about ALAP. It's going to really help many of the, the parents and really going to answer that, the killer question, as you say, what after us? So that was really a very, very insightful session that we had with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you also. Thank you, Dr. Shivali, and your forum.
And I'm really thankful to the audience also for joining with us. And we'll be soon be back with another Talk to the Expert series. So thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe, keep smiling, and let's, try to make an inclusive community. Thank you so much, everyone.